All right. Hello. Welcome, everybody. This is Stop Questioning Everything, the official Drug Receipts podcast. At the convergence of art and technology, bridging the gap between IRL and URL, we are the only brand consistently delivering mind-altering substance. We promote the pillars of art and subversion, science and skepticism, and community and sport. I'm your host, Arlo Eisenberg. Today is September 29th, 2022 here in America. It is already September 30th in New Zealand. This is episode number 18, and we've got a great show for you today. We are in the midst of the drug war, so there's going to be a lot of that content today. We're going to recap round one because we have finished the entire first round of the drug wars. All 64 teams that made it into the tournament have competed. And as of today, we have kicked off round number 2. So we'll do a deeper dive on the 32 teams that have moved on. We are in the round of 32 teams now. We'll share some highlights from round 1, including some standout propaganda. We'll review some of the results from round 1, and we will look into and take a preview at some of the action to come up in the second round. We will also let you know if any more bounties were claimed in the final division matchup from round 1. And we'll do a deeper dive on bosses. We've got some boss rounds coming up in the not too distant future. So we will look into that. What does it mean? Who is at stake? And on that note, we have some very special guests that have joined us since we are so mired in this gamification of drug receipts. We've brought on some, or we've invited on, I should say, some gaming experts, some Web3 gaming experts. So we will be visited by Fresco and Kaz of Arcade. Looking forward to speaking with them. If you are listening on a streaming service, just remember that this is a YouTube stream, so we will be sharing some visual content. As I mentioned, we're going to review some of the propaganda that our drug snugglers contributed to the drug war, so there will be a lot of visual aids. We'll try and do our best to describe what you're looking at, but we always recommend watching on experience. With that said, and did I say follow us on our socials at Drug Receipts, on Twitter, on Instagram. If you're not subscribed to our channel on YouTube, please subscribe. And best experience with anything that we do on any platform in Drug Receipts is when you're also following along in our Discord. So if you're not already a member of our Discord server, please join us there. There's always great conversation going on, and people are following along and listening to these YouTube streams live and adding commentary and other supplemental materials. And if you are a member of our Discord channel, then we'll see you in there. So let's bring up Jesse and Trevor, and we will start off with some brief routine checkup before we get into our special guest. Performing on the sound there.
Wow, the boing again.
I love that sound.
Whoa. Trevor, I did not realize this was going to be such a badass episode of routine checkup. What's the occasion?
Top Cat's in holiday mode, my friend. So
yeah.
No, I'm in Australia, and I'm just celebrating the fact that the sun is shining, because in New Zealand we don't really see that much of the sun this time of the year. And when I got here, it's hot. I'm in a t-shirt. I'm actually very hot, wishing that I had less than a t-shirt on, but that would be inappropriate for our viewership. And the sun's shining. Yeah, yeah. I didn't want to steal your thunder, Arlo. That's your signature, you know. So I thought, I'm looking out today because I'm in my mother's house and there's people inside. So I'm outside. The neighbors are probably listening into this one-way conversation thinking, what on earth is this guy talking about? And I'm looking straight into the sun, so hence the sunglasses. Otherwise, I'd be squinting at the camera, and that'd be a bad look. So put up with the sunnies. But hey, it's something new.
Trevor, do you actually
Right.
have more gel in your hair, or do the glasses just make it look like there's more gel?
I don't know. I don't use gel. I use a little bit of. I use pomade because
honestly, I think it's the filter, because it's like the way it's like cropping you out. It's making it a little spikier on top than it normally would look.
Yeah.
Whatever. All around a badass, a little badass appearance there.
Yeah. Top Cat gone badass.
We'll
holiday
take it.
mode. Here it is.
Yeah. Top Cat
And
after dark. I
if
like
this
it.
is the look you'd rather see, no, I don't even want to get into that. Let's move right along.
Hi, Jesse.
Jesse.
Hey, what's up, guys? Can you hear me? I didn't
Yeah.
expect to come on so soon. I was literally going to put on my eyelashes.
Oh, nice.
And as I got out the glue, Arlo was like, we're going to bring on Jesse next. I'm like, oh, God. Never mind. So I should have gone with the Top Cat method of
Yep.
Sunnies.
I thought you would. You
Well,
never miss
listen,
an opportunity.
Jesse, I'm following your run of show. If you ever need time to put on your makeup, then just put yourself later in the show. No
Oh,
worries.
yeah, I forgot I can do that.
You're in charge of this, Jesse.
Don't say that. We might have a Greg moment. Oh, thank God.
Yeah,
Okay,
there's
so
bound
I
be
want to
Greg
start really quickly because we have so much drug wars on the slate. I do want to acknowledge another competition that's wrapping up tomorrow. So I want to last call to get those entries in. We have the Skeptics and Sinners competition promotion going on right now. It's a flash fiction, so it's only been this week, but we encourage drug snugglers to write fiction, write a screenplay, film a little short clip. I mean, however you want to do it, do a graphic novel. I mean, we're not looking for really long form stuff here, but just enough to get your idea across. Basically, the only prompt was that it's got to be about the drug receipts character. Essentially, you're creating drug receipts lore, but incorporating at least one of the skeptical traits that we have in the collection. So whether it be the Ecree candle, the Flim Flam glasses, or Occam's razor. So the call for submissions will end midnight tomorrow, 11:59 p.m. tomorrow, Central Time here. So open up your clock calculators or translators, however you do it. But figure out it ends in something just over 24 hours from now.
Wow.
So get those entries in. And there's a trip to Las Vegas is on the line to join us at the Skeptic Conference.
And a suitcase, I understand. There's a suitcase that comes with that trip to Vegas, or at least that was my interpretation of Jesse's announcement in the Discord today. Is that right? You get a lawyer and a suitcase when you.
What was the announcement?
When you arrive in Vegas.
It's true. That's the surprise and delight.
That's the surprise and delight to have it.
Well, I'm definitely surprised. That is news to me. But yeah, you'll
Are you delighted?
About that.
Yes, yes.
I'm definitely surprised.
Suitcase. That's all you need when you go to Vegas.
Oh, Joellen, do we have the card
Let's show
for
it.
Skeptics and Sinners?
I'm really interested to see what people come up with this. This is another one, like the lore part of Drug Wars, which we're going to get into, has been, to me, the most exciting part of it all. So I'll be really interested to see what people do with this.
Yeah, this is a competition about lore. And also, so there's a trip to the Skeptic Conference in Vegas is on the line, but also each one of those NFTs that are featured there in our little jackpot, each one of those NFTs also is up. So those will be included in the prize purse. You'll get one of each of the drug receipts NFTs that includes a skeptical trait. Okay, cool. Awesome. Thanks for that, Joellen. Oh, my network.
And I can see Jessie's got her Ecree candle. Oh, no, she's going live on camera. There you go. Here it is.
I just want to see if I can do it.
This has turned into a makeup 101. Aren't those videos that it might go more viral? I've seen my daughter watches those and they get millions of views, like how to put on fake eyelashes.
Guys, this is marketing right here.
Wes wasn't on the run sheet. Have we got off book already?
I'm just kidding, guys.
I've just closed a ton of tabs. Hopefully that will help my stream. See if I'm lagging. Can you all hear me?
We're good. So speaking of lore, can we move into that was the worst segue ever. Should we move back into Drug Wars? Is that what we're here to do now?
Yeah, let's kick it off.
Let's get it going. So, Jesse, I think what would be nice is just to give a brief recap summary of what Drug Wars is for any new listeners that we have, just to set the stage so that for the rest of the episode, when we bring on Kaz and Fresco, as we're talking about it, everybody can enjoy it and will understand kind of where we are. So what is Drug Wars, Jesse?
Arlo, I am so glad you asked. Yeah. Drug Wars is a 64-team bracket-style competition where the best curated sets of 4 drug receipts can compete against one another in a face-off with a prize pool at the end worth over $20,000 USD. It's really, really cool. It's basically like Pokemon meets March Madness meets democracy meets bigger questions of corruption, bribery. Just kidding. But really, it's really cool. It's basically, it's a giant tournament. And we also did something pretty legendary while we were building it. And we made this really cool token gated voting system. So it is incredible. If you haven't joined, join the voting.
Shout out to Shay. I can see Shay's in the comments there. Build those in the comments, Mandy Turk. I don't know who Garage Memories is, but Garage Memories seems to be very familiar with us. Maybe they have a different handle in other channels. Nice to see everybody tuning in.
So at one point, guys, we were planning on doing a walkthrough where we would actually go on and I think we're going to show how the voting works. In light of the fact that we are having some issues with sharing the screen, is it something that we still think we can pull off? Does that mean Don's got to share his screen and go through the voting?
Here it comes.
Guys,
this is a first.
Real quick, if you ever want to know who is always down and who is about it, Don is always down and about it. So shout out Don sharing the screen.
All right.
So is Don actually going to cast a vote live while we all watch?
That could be some controversy. We have the infinite mirror. All right, let's go. So what are we looking at here? Is this the current round, the current battle?
Yeah, so we're looking at the battle arena. The battle arena is available to anyone at battlearena.drugreceipts.com. It's where all the active battles take place. We've always got 4 matchups running. Through the first round, we ran 4 matchups every day. The matchups are live for 23 hours at a time. There's a clock right there in the middle that is left in the matchup. You can share any of the battles from the little button right between the 2 cards. And you can flip either of the battle cards to read the lore on the back. Or you can just log out completely.
Don,
okay.
Just remember you are screen sharing, Don. Nice. Yeah. Everything you click on, the world can see.
That was actually not Don sharing his screen. That was Greg. So then you wonder why that went as smoothly as it did. That was definitely a Greg screen share there. But thanks. Nice A for effort.
It worked. Anyway, so yeah, we built I don't know. Sorry, guys. We built like a revolutionary system. Hello.
Yeah, the Web3 token gated voting system is something we should be very, very proud of. It's been getting a lot of attention from other communities. We've been fielding requests for personal walkthroughs, and it's been pretty amazing. Like there's no perfect way to vote in these competitions. Most of the communities that we're in touch with, they want to do some kind of gamification and get their community in and engaged in the way that we've done here with Drug Wars. And so a shout out to our dev team who have managed to figure out what is currently, we believe, to be the best Web3 token gated voting system in existence. So Drug Receipts, breaking new ground.
Trevor, you have actually come up with a perfect segue. So we are not experts on this. And the fact that we are even in the middle of this huge gaming campaign is a complete accident. We just sort of stumbled into it. It was, it came out of organically out of our Discord. People were just recognizing and commenting on how much fun it was to connect or to collect and curate Drug Receipts NFTs. And so we turned that into a kind of competition. We gamified it, and we've turned it into what is now Drug Wars. But creating a game, if it was on a roadmap, it would not have been something until often our distant future. And so the fact that we are just now all of a sudden, like we've pushed right to the front this game, it was just out of left field completely. So since we're here, let's actually bring on some experts who do know a thing or two about games, and we'll get their take on it. What have we done right? What can we do better? What does the landscape look like for Web3 games out there? Let's get some real inside information on this. So without any further hesitation, let's bring in Kaz and Fresco from Arcade.
Okay.
All right.
Oh, that's fanfare.
Yo, what's up, guys?
Yeah. What's up, you guys? Yeah, I love the audience applause. That's a nice touch. That is a live stream. We pumped that volume in, that audio in from our Discord server. Everybody in the Discord listening was just cheering for you guys.
Yeah, it calms the nerves. Yeah, I know people are on my side now.
All right,
yeah,
so
100%.
awesome. So, guys, thank you for being here. Jesse's going to step off screen for a moment to put on her eyelashes, but when she comes back, you will hardly recognize her. But oh, there you go. Nice.
Dang, look how fast that was.
Excellent.
Well,
Amazing. Who are you and what have you done with Jesse?
Well, when I learned that Fresco had gotten a haircut for this special event, I had to put on some eyelashes.
Step your game up.
So thank you.
Arlo and Trevor still have better hair than me, so.
Hey, dude, no, I wouldn't even say that.
Yeah. I think you're selling
the
yourself
people
short
would.
there, man.
The people would.
I feel like we're in good company here. This is a good-looking crew. So guys,
I'm feeling so much love for my hair today, Arlo, that I feel like I should just be doing this.
Star of the show, just let your hair move again. You should move your sunglasses
the shades.
Up.
There you go. Yeah,
there you go. Yeah, it's top cat.
The hairdo. All right. So, guys, we did a recap. We just sort of set the stage, reminded everybody kind of what Drug Wars is. The next thing I'd probably like to do is let you guys tell us what y'all do, what Arcade does. We mentioned that we kind of just stumbled into the gamification of our project, but there are other projects out there. Crypto Walkers, right? What they've been sharing looks like there's a really exciting game coming. Next Legends is just about to mint. AFA's out there. That Fluff's going to have some kind of gamification. So there's a lot of things on the horizon, and for all of us that are kind of buying into all these projects and supporting them, at some point, there's going to come a reckoning where if we really want to, maximize our investments in these things, we're going to have to be playing these games all the time, which for some of us that have podcasts and NFT projects of our own and all these other things, it's not really feasible. And I think that's sort of one of the driving inspirations behind the solutions you guys have come up with. So can you guys tell us what is Arcade? What are y'all doing?
Yeah, 100%. And, thank you guys for having us. Trevor, thank you for coming back from the Matrix to be on this stream with us. We really appreciate it. And Jesse, it's good to see you again also. But yeah, so like you were kind of alluding to, Arlo, gaming, it is time consuming, and you could only play like one game at a time, right? Unless you've got like 4 eyes and like 6 hands, it's not really possible, right? So what Arcade's platform is, we aim to like solve a lot of the problems that's going on in the space right now. A couple of the things is, one of the main things is that we think people are playing 2 different games at the same time, right? You have your actual gamers, they want to blow stuff up, build a city, race a car, fight someone in Street Fighter, all of that. And then you have your kind of like your Web3 gamers who are kind of playing the investor game. They're trying to collect NFTs and flip them for a more higher ranking or a higher rarity item, or they're trying to go from their mutant apes to a bored ape, or all of that, right? So it's basically 2 different games being played at the same time. And as far as the financial game goes, it gets even deeper. There's land mechanics, there's harvesting, token this, token that, and it's like really complicated, right? And what we aim to do with our platform is separate it. And the way we're doing that is we're basically making a lot of these gaming assets available to what we call mission pool operators. And essentially, a mission pool operator is anyone who likes to play games. It could be a guild, an individual player, an esports team. Essentially people who just want access to these assets, because gamers want to play games for entertainment. That's the primary factor playing a game, right? So we want to facilitate that need. And by doing so, the reason, all of these NFTs, a lot of these gaming assets have these like crazy valuations is because there's some sort of possibility of like revenue models or earnings or all of that. It's not always the case, but that is kind of, some of the things we're seeing in the space, right? So what we've done in our platform is we've created a something called mission pools. And a mission pool is basically a staking pool that's directly tied to a asset. It could be an arena. Like we have a couple ASM bosses, which we're going to have ASM arenas where, we're going to be able to host leagues and tournaments and all of that. And essentially the arenas have a model of being able to extract some value from the ecosystem, right? What we're going to have is a mission pool that's basically going to be tied to that individual asset. It could be ASM boss number 5, or maybe we're going to get to name it the arcade arena. It could be anything, right? And it'll allow people to who just want to like experiment with the financial models of these different ecosystems. They'll be able to do that without actually having to play the game or even having to buy the NFT. Now it gets a little deeper than that. Like you could be a gamer. I'm a gamer, but I could only play one game at a time, right? So let's say I want to play Next Legends, but I know there's this huge tournament going on in AFA or something, right? I could be like staking my arcade tokens in the ASM pool while I'm playing Next Legends because I'm more into boxing. So it allows people to kind of leverage their time by doing that, and it also lets people experiment with certain models of different games without actually buying the NFT. Maybe you just want to see like, oh, let me see what Illuvium's about and how this works in Illuvium, or let me see what happens in Gods and Goblins, or in Yuga Labs and their other sides, or in the Crypto Walkers. Maybe you want to just experiment with those, and then you find something that fits your niche. Then you could make a decision to actually go ahead and buy that NFT after you've kind of experimented with it. So we kind of like solve those problems by giving something to giving the players access to the assets without actually having to put up a lot of capital or any at all. And on the other side, we give people a means of experimenting with the financial models of these games without actually having to buy the NFTs or any of that. The other part of our platform is esports. So basically taking our mission pool concept and our mission pool staking model, and we're tying it into esports, because I think we believe like that's kind of the future of where the space is headed, and just gaming in general. I think if you look at the trajectory, esports is something that's just projected to just go absolutely parabolic. It's almost a spectator sport. People are spending more time, work from home, all of that. So esports is actually, it's one of those things that are just exploding. And the interesting thing about gaming and all this, we're in like a weird space, because crypto, blockchain, Web3, all of that is kind of like financial investing, all of that, while gaming is more like entertainment, right? Like people don't care if the markets are down. That's not going to prevent someone from playing a game. Like, oh no, the market's down today, I can't play Forza because the market's down. That's not how it works, right? So we believe esports and all of that, regardless of market conditions. I think gaming it has a place of its own. So, oh, look who it is, Brooke, the man. Good to see you, buddy.
We've achieved full Brady Bunch. We've got all six screens up.
What happens now? It all just explodes. We're crossing the streams, Ghostbusters style.
Yeah,
I don't know if that's Brooke or Dawn that's just popped on screen.
Firstly, I want people to see, I don't know if you watched the podcast the other day, just how ghosty this, I don't know what's going on with this. This is not great technology. But I'm always blown away. Like I got to hear like a little bit of the arcadeness there. What you guys are doing is so amazing. It's awesome. It's crazy it's taken this long to get you guys on the podcast.
Thank you for saying that. Obviously we're hugely invested in like the non-fungible labs ecosystem. I think it's probably some of our biggest holdings, probably one of the biggest wallets that's in that ecosystem. And Brooke, everything I might have said about Dan Hooker yesterday in Discord, I take it all back. And I was just kidding. Yeah.
Yeah, I
Well,
mean,
you got to be careful which fights you pick, my friend. There's an entire nation of people that'll come after you if you start taking the Lord's name in vain.
here's something that many of the holders may or may not know. I would usually make fun of someone wearing sunglasses on a podcast, but Trevor is a 4th Dan black belt. Did you guys know that? I'm not joking. Trevor is a 4th Dan black belt. So like Israel Adesanya is a purple belt. Do you like to bring that up sometimes, Trevor?
I did now and again. I also like to drop the fact that Israel trains with one of my best friends, is his striking trainer. So we mix in very similar circles. So yeah, I know those guys pretty well. But this is not about beating people up. This is about war.
But Brooke, you also missed a whole segment about Trevor sunglasses and hair gel.
Oh yeah.
He had his sunglasses on.
Apparently, this is my best angle. Apparently, this is what the people want.
What place are you in where you would require during a podcast to wear sunglasses? Like, what is the combination?
The background off because I'll dox my family. I'm at my mum's house and I'm in Australia, and the sun actually shines here.
I see.
And I'm staring straight at the sun. If I don't, that's why I look so good on camera today, because the sun's shining straight. Look, can you see it in the reflection?
We can see the reflection in your glasses. We know you're lying.
So it's either squinty Trevor or sunglasses Trevor. You take your pick.
So because you guys are aware that Australia, because Trevor is Australian, this is one of when you're in an employment process these days, you're not allowed to restrict your employment based on if someone's Australian. And New Zealand has a kind of a long-standing rivalry. But this kind of sunglass wearing, suntan getting, hair gelling kind of action is exactly why we don't like that.
Be careful how far you go down this rabbit hole, Howard Smith, because I am rocking your Goldens over here in
that's good. Okay.
In the motherland.
We're getting deep into
it. Educating, I'm educating the Australian people on what a jandal is. So there you go.
10 minutes ago, before I ruined this podcast, you guys were talking about what people actually want to hear about, which is like utility, monetization, play and earn, all of these great things. And I came in and it's all been bullshit since then. Anyways, keep going.
I wanted to say the reason why it took so long for us to get Arcade on the podcast is because we have a big announcement on today's show. So we've been holding them back for the big announcement. So that's coming. I don't know if I'm running ahead on the runner show. I don't have it open, but I'll just drop that.
No, we're getting there. I want to ask a follow-up question, because Kaz gave us a pretty good introduction to what Arcade does and the model there. But we're talking about the future of gaming, right? And in your description, it sounds like there's kind of a line or division between games as they exist now and where they are entertainment based, as you said, and then the Web3 games that have the financial component where you can play to earn. And I'm wondering if you could talk more about the differences between sort of conventional gaming as we know it and the future of gaming on Web3, but also how those lines might be blurring, or that hard division between those two kinds of game as entertainment versus game as investing, how that might be, those walls might be coming down.
Yeah, great question. Honestly, I think it's just because it's new, right? I think because of blockchain technology, it's not just about play to earn, but also ownership models. It wasn't possible before. So this is just because it's so new, it's almost, we're separating it in our mind. But I just believe altogether, all of it is just the advancement of the internet. Even the whole concept of the metaverse or all of that. I mean, no one's going to say, hey guys, I'm on the metaverse, join me in the metaverse. You're just going to say, hey, I'm online, right? That's the same thing you do when you're playing video games. You go on your Xbox, you go on your PlayStation. Yo, Fresco, I'm online. Let's go shoot some shit. That's how people are interacting with the space. But because it's so new, we're calling it like, this is blockchain gaming and this is regular gaming. But I think it shouldn't, as technology advances, and I think, like crypto in general gets ahead of itself and there's too much excitement, and then you just see all sorts of like weird things happen. I mean, like a year ago, before gaming and NFTs, it was like food tokens. You had sushi and hot dog and broccoli and like pickle. Like you had like every single food coin you could think of, and we experienced the same thing in the gaming space. But when you especially in the bear market now, you're seeing all like the weird cash grabby projects kind of die off. And those things weren't a step forward in gaming. They were a step back, and that's not what should be the case, right? Like, blockchain shouldn't make your games worse. It should make them better. And I think as, you know, the more prominent projects like, you know, Futureverse and Third Kingdom, everything that Aaron and Brooks do inside, even on other projects like on Solana, you have like so many games, Immutable X, like there's a lot of stuff happening in the gaming side, and it's just advancement of gaming. So on a very, very basic level, think of it this way. Back in the days when we bought games, you got a cartridge, you got a CD. When you were tired of it, or, you know, your friend bought another game, you would trade the game, right? And we kind of lost that ability to do that because everything is now like a web store. People are no longer buying games, they're buying access to the games. Now, on a very basic level, if you take away all the play to earn and all of that, everything, a game could just be an NFT. And by being an NFT, guess what? I can now trade games with Fresco. I'd be like, hey, Fresco, play this game. Here's my ASM brain. You can play all the ASM games, play around with it. Let me get your hoverboard so I can play all the stuff that the guys at Jadu are doing. It's like we're going backwards in time to fix a problem, to find a solution for something that we were able to do that we lost in transition to like the digital space. So, you know, I think it's all going to converge together, and it's just going to become a norm. I don't think there's going to be a big separation as time goes on. It'll just be accepted. And I believe, you know, at a certain point, I mean, you know, we're all in the blockchain space, so we're excited about it. But I think, you know, at one point, people aren't even going to know what's happening in the background. That, hey, this skin that they bought in their game is actually on the blockchain. It's just going to, the interaction is just going to be the same. And it's not going to be until they want to do something that actually requires proof of ownership where it's going to click like, I wasn't able to do this before, and now I am. Yeah. And I think, you know, it's a process to get there. We will get there, but I think, you know, right now it's just a separation. And if you go even backwards, right, when Nintendo 64 came out, it was like, oh, 3D gaming, you know, 3D gaming and gaming. It was like two different things, and now it's just gaming, right? So I think it's just history repeating itself.
So thank you for that. Fresco, you guys have been huge supporters of NFL and the Futureverse. Big supporters of drug receipts, but all the projects. Fresco, I know that your wallet, I'm sure, is full of Futureverse projects, but you're in charge of partnerships. Who first discovered NFL? Who brought it to Arcade?
What's funny about that? Oh, go ahead. Gotta go, Kaz?
Yeah. So, funny story about Futureverse and all of that. It was just like, hey, this was during like the NFT craze where everyone was just like minting all sorts of weird stuff. And
remember those days, the old NFT craze?
The good old days when NFTs were still a thing. I remember when NFTs were a thing.
Those were the days.
Someone had sent me the link to Fluffs, and it was just like literally like in like half an hour before it was supposed to mint. And I think it was even delayed. Like I was supposed to do something and I was like staying home. I'm like, crap, I gotta stay home for this mint. And I knew nothing about the project, and I just minted it just to like be a DJ. And I was like, all right, let me mint like 5 of these things. And to be honest, I minted like 5 and I sold 3 of them overnight because it was just fun. I was like, I'm selling all this. And I held 2 of them. And I stayed within the community. We all have those stories,
friend. We all have those stories, you know.
Yeah. So I stayed within the community. I started learning a little more, and then I was like, "Holy shit! No, this is something big." Like, I think soon after we got introduced to ASM, and I'm like a big like computer nerd, AI nerd. Like I love the stuff. So at that time, I was like, "No, this is something else going on." So I had gone from 5 to 2 to like 15 fluffs at one point, and I was just like, all right, people are like, you got to stop buying these rabbits. And you guys are really secretive, so I was just like, I just have a feeling about this. And then once more info started kind of like releasing, the rest of the team were like, oh crap, Kazi was right this whole time. So it just kind of happened by chance, but like I'm glad like I fell down this rabbit hole, I guess, because it's been a good trip.
Yeah, it's funny. For me, a lot of the arcade guys knew each other from like I've known each other for years, right? But I didn't. I actually somebody who's the community manager for the Atom team now, like Mo Speed, I think is his name there, but Mo Fluff and like the Fluff Discord. We met through another project, kind of became like real life friends, and would hang out and get sushi and stuff. And one day he was like, "Hey, I just mentioned these things called Fluffs, right? And you should check them out." And I checked them out, saw kind of what they were doing, and it's maybe like right after like the thingies dropped. Funny story, Brooke actually sold me my first Fluff at like a really good deal at the time. And
No buybacks.
no. And then through that, I kind of like I didn't really have a good success story in like NFTs before that, right? I hadn't made a lot of money, was in kind of some bad projects and stuff. And then sure enough, like the Party Bear Mint was coming up. I had happened to got like a bunch of free NFTs through another project. I sold all of them like right as the Party Bear Mint was coming around. And I sold all those, minted a bunch of Party Bears, and then just through that kind of like found myself being like I was like a whale in Party Bears. I had like 10, right? And just through that met like Greg and Kazi and Mike, who was like What Exit Strategy on Discord, and who like Fluff House LA. We all met up and had a bunch of drinks, and there, Greg was like, "Hey, we need you on the team, man, and like you have some good ideas. You're a lifelong gamer, I always tell people like I paid for a lot of my college from like selling gold in World of Warcraft, right? And like when Jesse and Aaron one day were talking about how they were like addicted to World of Warcraft. Like Aaron has that funny story. He logged into World of Warcraft like 60 days straight or something. That was me too, right? And so I was doing stuff I shouldn't have done on the game. I was like selling gold for like real money because I'm from pretty humble origins, right? And so I was just kind of figuring out how I could make money in the world, right? And that was a really good way to like play games and make money and go to school, right? Because I didn't have scholarships or anything. I'm not too smart. Lost my athletic scholarship, right? So and through that just met these guys and share a vision of like, for me, it's accessibility that I think is like the best thing that Arcade is trying to accomplish. Is like, not everybody can go out and buy a Snoop Burrow, right? But Arcade can. And through our platform, through our protocol, we can give you the ability to make money off of these same investments, right? And so for me, accessibility is huge. Just like my background, I'm from an immigrant family, first generation American. I look super white, right? But I'm not, my family immigrated here. So for me, getting people, to make the same kind of money that I've been able to make in this space has been huge. And a lot of that credit is to you guys, to Brooke and the non-fungible ecosystem, because like I minted a Snoop Burrow, right? At the time, they hit like 20 ETH. Like that's a year's salary for a lot
people,
right? Imagine some right. in Malaysia who could have sold that for 20 ETH, like 60, 70 grand at the time, right? Like that person can now do whatever they want to in their life, right? And so for me, that was kind of my story, and I knew at that point I needed to find a way to work in Web3 and to be able to unlock some of those access points, and that's my favorite thing about Arcade. I get to, I'm in partnerships for Arcade, right? So I get to work alongside these games and building these awesome things, these awesome products, and it's kind of checks a huge box for me in my life, just being a gamer. So.
And from our side, such an awesome story. You've got so much support in the community too, man. Lots of fans in there. From our side,
I'm a DJ, man. So
from our side, like if you said to me, what is the single biggest problem that we are facing? And I think it's pretty obvious, right? It's a sense of like, if we keep talking about the open, accessible, inclusive metaverse, and we keep having $500 mints. We're fooling ourselves, right? We're fooling ourselves to think that that's open and inclusive. And so the sense of how we build these partnerships with people like yourselves, that one of your primary objectives is accessibility, right? That's the whole idea. So really, really exciting. We've always loved having you guys on board. Awesome actually getting to catch up with you at South by, catch up with the crews at South by, and kind of actually meet some of the Arcade crew. So really good. What was the fluff that I sold you? I can go through some seller's remorse now.
Yeah, it's funny.
It was a zombie one.
No, it wasn't. Never sell my zombie.
You were supposed to sell me a tiger for fluff.
Oh yeah.
And pumped a little bit. and you were like, oh man, I don't, this one's gonna be hard to get rid of. And so you sold me just it's like a gray fluff. His name was Bones at the time. I've since renamed him to Fluffy McFluffface after the artist
cool.
in the Burrows. And
Right.
yeah, but no,
nothing to do with Bodie McBoatface.
Well, I mean, that's probably the original writers. I don't know if that really got to
Who owns that? Yeah. I have a question. And this is probably from somebody who hasn't spent a big chunk of their life in a gaming environment. So this may sound like a very noob question. And we have a panel of people here, so it's not directed at anyone. It's kind of directed at the panel. But we've got these play to earn models that everybody's talking about. The big advantage of Web3 gaming is the play to earn model. We look at game infrastructures like the AFA League and the next Legends, which is about to mint. And I have it in my head that there's an entire ecosystem or an entire kind of economy going to evolve here where, say I'm a holder of an AFA team. I assume that the better my team performs, the more desirable and valuable my team becomes. And so not only do I earn from that, but the value of those NFTs goes up. So should I be looking at hiring people to play these games on my behalf so that these are people who do have the time to spend, because I don't have the time to spend hours and hours and hours a day in a game environment, right? So should I be hiring my son or my son's friends or, whoever to game in these worlds for me on my behalf to increase the value of my NFTs and the income that I can generate? Is that a real thing?
Yeah, I think Trevor's just, we need to send him down the rabbit hole of what guilds and Web3 are, because there's whole businesses, whole multi-million-dollar companies who've raised money. Merit Circle, YGG. There's huge names in the space that Ready Player DAO, who have raised a ton of money to do exactly that and are able to share those benefits with other people, kind of unlocking some of those access points, right? Yeah. And so I think that's a huge thing that's going to be happening in Web3. And I always tell people, point me into somebody who works in Web3 and I will show you somebody who has no time to game, right? The funny thing about us at Arcade is we don't have the time to play a lot of these games, right? We have a lot of time to help them develop and help them learn these processes and do things to bring them along. But our ability to play the games is we're just like anybody else. We grind all day, we're time capped. And so, I think that's definitely something that you should be looking at. And I think a lot of games are building those into their games to make that really seamless and easy. I think one of the best examples right now is, undead blocks, right? You can loan out your weapon packs really seamlessly and really easily, and it's a gasless fee. I think that actually is a small gas fee for undead blocks, so I don't want to misrepresent that. But there are ways to, just you sign into the game and you click a little check down box and find the person's name that you want to loan that out to, and they can earn off of that, right? And I think I don't want to misrepresent anything that anybody in the non-fungible ecosystem is doing. I suspect that those are going to be built into those games and make it really easy to kind of
right here, right now on this very podcast, every parent of a teenager that listens to this is suddenly no longer saying, stop playing those fucking video games. And they're going to be saying, start playing more of those fucking video games so that you can pay rent and contribute to the family pot, right? It's a thing.
Well, so Trevor, I know some of you guys would have may have seen the podcast, the Next Legends podcast, where I think one of the biggest things, because again, I don't come from a gaming background, Aaron is total degen gamer, and so it's really interesting. I constantly move towards the functionality of what we're doing towards other life applications, non-gaming applications. But the truth, and Aaron's constantly talking about gaming, but the truth of that merge, the fact that realistically what we're talking about, whether it be Web3 with as a sports team, Manchester United, Web3 with a company like Seeker Silos that are looking at decentralizing communication networks, or gaming like the Next Legends, play to earn really is actually contribute to receive value, right? So the fact that often your contribution may be playing, or and playing may be just contributing to the world, the richness of the world. You've got another character in the world that's contributing to the richness of the world, or any other contribution to a game. That is the crux of Web3. So the sense of the fact that some of it will be gamed in traditional gaming spaces, some of it may actually be in less traditional spaces, i.e., we were talking about kind of like someone sharing content at a gaming conference, right? So that's a contribution to the game, or like at a gaming championship. So someone sitting in the stadium, they share content, they're contributing to that game, or someone playing the game is contributing to the game, or someone creating some lore is contributing to the game. So the sense of play to earn, in my mind, is just too narrow a scope. Contribution to earn value is exactly what this entire Web3 revolution is going to be about. The next part about that I was blown away with, this is like, sit next to Aaron for long enough and David for long enough and just blows, is the sense that everything that's been learned in the gaming industry over the last 30 years is about to be applied to every single skill, whether it's, becoming a mechanic, whether it's teaching languages. The sense that the moment that you start to merge these real world tasks that bring value to our lives, which may be supply chain manufacturing supply chains, education, all of these different things are going to merge to where they feel like games, the gamification of everything. And so whilst it may feel like people are going there, like, why would you spend all day in a virtual world shooting guns at people? Well, that's going to be just, again, a really narrow part of this Web3 gaming world. And it might be that there are people that are doing that, but it might be that there was also a challenge in that world, I just, off the top of my head, in that world that involves some kind of real world utility that's being born out of that, teaching people whatever it is. So that's my ramble of kind of like, and I hope that kind of describes what I think is the sense that everyone is going to be affected by this, whether or not you're a gamer.
I honestly 100% agree with what Brooke just said. I think, gaming, the technology that's been produced because of gaming, it's going to get applied to the next generation of social media. I think, we don't like Facebook and all of that, but I think Mark Zuckerberg had this idea a very long time ago where social media is just going to become, what's the main purpose of social media besides stealing our data and all of that? It's for people to interact with each other in digital space, right? Even right now, YouTube is kind of like a social media, Discord, Facebook, Instagram, all of this. It's all some sort of social media, but why do we get on it? Not to interact with the app, but to interact with other people in digital space, right? We're even, Facebook Marketplace, all of this. So what's happening with gaming, all the technology that's been developed with gaming, Unreal Engine, the first game I ever got into was Unreal Tournament 99. This is before Unreal Engine came out. This was like their first game. It was a shooter, Unreal Tournament. And that's what gave birth to Unreal Engine, which, opened up the doors for movie studios to be able to produce movies and special effects and all of this. But because of the ownership models and the proof of ownership that crypto allows you to do, blockchain, I think the next generation of social media is actually in digital space, which you could consider a video game, metaverse, whatever you want to call it. It's literally like what social media is going to progress into. You're going to buy stuff through, instead of going on Amazon, and looking at a picture of it, you're going to see an item in digital space. I think it's kind of what you guys are doing with drug receipts, right? With the hoodies, it's a digital version where people are getting to almost interact with it in digital space, and at the same time, it's a real world item. So like you guys are almost at the forefront of that also. I think it's definitely it's all gonna converge together in the next few years.
I haven't been on one of these, that's an awesome point, and I haven't been on one of these podcasts for a while, but Arlo, it's like you've got these like Jesse and Trevor are doing a great job with the sunglasses and the hype signaling. If we could just put Joel and Trevor put Arlo in the middle of the two of them, and then they could type on the sides, that'd be great.
Drug receipts is slowly morphing into Public Enemy for the metaverse. I'm going to turn up on the next episode with a clock on my clock around my neck.
I'd say it's more kind of third basic here. By the way, guys, and some of you guys and girls might not know this, but the closest I could say to this is that Arlo and I were in a Vanilla Ice music video, and this is very similar to that. It is eerily similar to that music video.
Yeah,
Every
Alan,
time
did
like,
you
you guys talk together, I learn something new. That's like,
Yeah.
how did that happen?
do you know
It
what?
was not
It's-
Vanilla Ice at his peak, though. I have to say, he was going through like a blonde,
was it
like
property
dreadlocks phase.
was it property
This
developer?
was sometime
Vanilla Ice, or-
after his peak as an artist, but before like D-list reality TV shows came along. So yeah, but one of the directors of the skate videos we used to appear in directed a video for Vanilla Ice, and so he brought us out to be extras.
we need to be clear on this. We were doing nothing on an afternoon, and he was like, "And there's food here," and we're like, "Oh,
Yeah.
fuck it," and we went down, and Arlo has a serious role. Like they obviously took one look at me, and they're like, "You are an extra." I'm not like, but
I
Arlo
did not
was
have a serious role.
Well, you are. Aren't you standing like next to him? Like you're kind of like
I don't
near
think so.
him.
I think Chris
you have a
Mitchell was
speaking
like
role?
a journalist or a photographer or something. I think he
Okay.
got featured. as
Oh,
a
okay, I
photographer.
see. For me, I have to like when I tell a story, I then spend like 40 minutes going frame by frame through the video until I can find.
I couldn't even tell
Wait,
you what
there,
song it was.
coming up.
It's
It's coming
called-
up. I swear.
It's called for you guys. It's called The Wrath of the Iceman, and I've got it for the seekers out there. I'm going to give
Look at
away a
Jesse.
seeker. I'm going to give away a seeker to the first person that can get a freeze frame of both Arlo and me into the Discord from The Wrath of the
Ooh.
Iceman. It's very hard to find a Vanilla Ice video. If you are that seeker, I will give you
I
that.
need to see this.
No, Jesse, you're in the middle of work. You're working
Yeah,
right now.
you're working right now.
I
Yeah.
am.
You know that we don't get the prizes when they drop. Now I'm going to bring this thing back from Brooke
Sorry,
Howard.
sorry.
Rabbit hole. Just
It's a good story, though.
Yeah, very good story. No one else can talk about being in a Vanilla Ice video, or would openly admit to being in a Vanilla Ice video. On
Trevor, you
on
are
the- on
living
the
a
internet
Vanilla
forever.
Ice video right now.
I am a Vanilla Ice Vanilla Ice video. But our Drug Wars, right? Getting this back to try and pull it back to Jesse's run of show. So our Drug Wars is a play to earn type game, right? Because we have some pretty significant prizes. And we do have a big announcement. And I know that I'm on track here because I went back while Brooke was telling his story and read the runner's show. And I know that this is the next thing we're going to talk about. And I'm going to throw to Arlo to drop the big bomb. Why are these boys here, Arlo, other than to give us their genius, like Kaz just throwing facts like there's no tomorrow about the gaming industry?
No, if you don't mind, I'd like to fill that space with like a little bridge as we go from them sharing, their deep knowledge on gaming and Web3 and into what we're doing with Drug Wars, because these guys, right, the reason y'all are here is because you're going to play a role in the Drug Wars. But before we reveal what that is, for anyone that hasn't put the pieces together yet, although it's a pretty open secret, I would say at this point, but I would like to get your input and your feedback on how we're doing with Drug Wars. What do y'all think of it so far? I mean, as I mentioned, it's kind of a thing that we accidentally ended up doing. We didn't set out to, release a game. But here we are, and with anything that we do, it's like once we get into it, we put a lot of thought into it. We want it to be a good experience. We put a lot of time and thought and effort into the user experience, into the development, and with our connections with non-fungible labs and through some good recruiting and hiring, we have access to really good talent. So we have great developers, we have great designers, we have a great team with a lot of really good ideas. So we're proud of what we've done with Drug Wars, but we have come into it kind of blind. So I'd really love to hear what you guys think. I mean, you guys are very active in our Discord. You're active in the community. So I think that it's not putting you too much on the spot to ask if you're familiar with Drug Wars, if you've had a chance to look at it, and what do you think about it?
And wait a second, Arlo, are you asking them to compare it to AAA games? You're like, is this similar to Grand Theft Auto?
That's why I set it up. I'm trying to keep some perspective here. We're a small team that kind of just sort of accidentally stumbled into this small gaming activation. But as far as it goes, yeah,
no, it's a great question.
For a compliment.
Yeah, no, and I'll say, like, I think the whole Drug Wars thing was like totally organic, right? Like you're saying, it just kind of like you guys stumbled onto it, and I think what you guys have built is like a framework to actually build on top of, and I see like actually all the little things you guys figured out, the voting system, the contractor, all of that. I think it actually has huge esports level implications or capabilities if it's applied that way, right? So I think, you know, like what you guys have just kind of stumbled upon and built out has massive potential within like competitive gaming, within competitive gaming. I mean, just a framework alone, right? And I think, you know, anyone can build a game, but you need users and community and all of that to play the game, right? I mean, I can build a game, and if no one wants to play it or no one wants to interact with it, well, you know, a cool story, right? So I think, you know, you guys are on the right pace. And on top of that, like I was kind of alluding to earlier with what you guys are doing with augmented reality and, you know, real world items or whatever, I think you're actually at the forefront of that. I know it's not like necessarily like Drug Wars directly, but, you know, to me, it's like Drug Receipts, the project as a whole. So I think you guys are almost at the forefront of certain things that a lot of other projects we talk to are saying, "Oh, we're gonna do this," you know, it's on our roadmap or blah blah blah. We're gonna be this fashion project. But they haven't done it yet, right? So I think, you know, you guys are almost like at the forefront of it, and in a way they're like side projects for you guys, because I think the main thing, you know, when I first spoke to Brooke about Drug Receipts at South by Southwest in Texas, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, I think the real goal was to be kind of real world items, right? Like a brand, like a Supreme type of thing. So you guys are doing side projects that are putting other projects whose main goal is to do that, and you're putting them to shame, to be honest. So I think you guys are doing awesome.
I totally agree. I totally agree. The moment you start to think about the battle bracket and the ability to have Web3 enabled, like wallet connect voting on visual assets, suddenly it's like, wait a second, you're saying that we could battle NFTs against each other. We could right now, if you wanted to, we could be battling Thingy virtual art against Thingy virtual art. Holy shit, we could probably get the Thingies voting on the virtual art, to be honest. That's like, but the sense of kind of like the ability to kind of build these brackets out and engage people. And also, of course, the biggest part about all of this, you know, from the outside, is every time we engage the community to be creative, i.e. to come up with a set, to come up with lore, we're demonstrating how impossible it is to stop creative communities. I talked about this the other day, you know, at South by Southwest, there was that rumor that Disney was going to try to buy us. And the other day I was talking about how impossible it is for Disney to beat creative communities. How if you tried to build a universe at Disney, or, you know, even a bit of IP, you have to hire a creative director, and then they hire kind of like a team, and then that team builds and grows. The difference between that and having 13,000 people contributing to your lore and your canon is like, and doing it organically and it continually growing, it's actually physically impossible for a paid hierarchical infrastructure like Disney to beat that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah, and you know, one thing I do want to like touch on is like one thing that people don't really like know and understand about Arcade is like we have a whole like subsidiary that's all about advising games and like helping them go to market, helping them kind of from like its inception, like studios like inception stages to delivering a game, right? And like once we saw like the Drug Wars and like the bracket system built out, like, and we have like a daily meeting, and in one of those, I think it was maybe Kazi was like, hey guys, like we need to tell people to do stuff like this. Like this, it's too easy to like to not do. You know what I mean? And like it's just you guys like kind of stumbling upon this like really good idea and running with it, and like just empowering the community and kind of incentivizing, you know, creativity and storytelling and lore. You know, like you said, it's a form of play to earn, right? It's different because it's not a video game, but you know, people are contributing, people are building like these really cool stories, and
that's why contribute to earn or contribute value. That's why we've got to kind of get away from the moment we say play to earn, guys. It is trivializing what we're doing. What we're doing, even as a gamer that's, you know, engaging in a game, you're not just playing. You're an active part of building out the vibrance in a community, right? And so that idea of contribution and you're doing it to kind of add, you know, that value exchange is the key thing.
Yeah, no, and you guys have done an awesome job. And like your guys' team is so good at coming up with just like cool ways to incentivize, like, you know, like the landmine thing. Like when you guys did that, I was like, why does nobody else do something like this? Like this is so cool. And like there it is, people are getting like fired up about it. Like even going back to the mint, like, you know, the 6969, right? Like I was there for that too, and like that was just dope.
Yeah, that was dope.
To be honest, I was the guy that started that meme. If you go back in the history,
right?
you're gonna see
Really?
you're gonna see me like,
You know,
like who is this guy?
For the culture, it's become a massive part of us now.
Well, Kaz, there was that period, and like Arlo, myself, all of us actually in this project have been through like war, like we've been through hell on many things. Arlo and I have been through it many times in our lives, but that 24 hours and that time, which was like probably like, I don't know, like 6 a.m. for you, Arlo, right? And it was, because I know it was 1 a.m. for us, I think it was really middle of the night. And we had from Ireland, is it oh my god, Brooke, Jarrett, is it, do you remember the guy, Irish guy? Come on, guys.
Jarwick.
I'm so sorry, I've mind blanked. There was a series of events that happened, including Jarwick and yourself, Kaz, and the 6969, that pulled that mint all the way through and really became like one of the highlights of my like in terms of my work life. Like that day was like the most stressful day, but it was fucking awesome when it all started to come together. There's been nothing like it even throughout the ecosystem. I like how when I start a speech, they just zoom in. It's a lot of pressure.
Yeah, it is. I noticed you sat up and went,
like, whoa,
shit, the camera's on. Like,
it's getting serious now.
Your years of media training just went boom,
just
kicked
spewing,
in.
Spewing bullshit.
Like a reflex.
Yeah, unbelievable.
All right, so you guys have been there since the beginning. That has been well established. And it is a no-brainer then that you guys would be a part of Drug Wars. So when we were putting together bosses for Drug Wars, which is on the horizon now, after we get through our divisional matchups, the division winners are going to go on into a bonus round where they get to face a boss. So we've got a roster of 8 bosses, which we have not been disclosing yet. All the Drug Lords will be bosses. Brooke will be a boss. I'm going to be a boss. Tyler Shields will be a boss. So each one of the bosses will put up a team. But we've also invited in bosses from other related projects and communities. And you guys were a no-brainer. So the big announcement that Trevor has been, just chomping at the bit for us to get to is that we are officially announcing that Arcade is one of the bosses in the Drug Wars, and that you guys will be putting up a prize for the bounty. And you guys have actually already curated your team, which I think we can give. We're not going to show the lore. We're not going to disclose the lore yet, but we are going to give a sneak peek at one of the boss teams. Let's go ahead and show the Arcade.
Oh wow, there's a lot of pressure, man. Oh wow, that's a cool team.
And Kazi, that is your 1 of 1 that you minted while we were at South by Southwest. Can you tell us that story?
Yep. Oh yeah, it was hilarious. I think we were in the dome, and I was like drunk off my mind, and I'm like, "Is that Arlo?" And then at the same time, I had been I was talking to Max. Drunk? Oh yeah, the little in between, right? And I was hanging out with like Max Poker and Somnium, and we were just all like kind of hanging out. And I refreshed my OpenSea, and I'm like, oh shit, it finally revealed. And then I first see that, oh shit, I got a 1 of 1, and I hunt down Arlo in the crowd, and he's like, who is this freaking crazy guy? Like, like yelling at me. And I'm like, I have a gold tabby. And then like his eyes lit up and he's like, no way. And I'm like, yeah, bro, yes way. And yeah, that was the first time I actually spoke to Arlo. It was interesting beginnings, right? But
I think we have a photo of that night somewhere on our Discord, or Arlo might have it. But there's a photo of you guys in the Fluff Dome together, and you guys both look so stoked. It was like right at the moment of reveal. Oh my god, South by was such a memory, such a great time.
Yeah, because our collection was revealing during South by Southwest, so yeah, it was really momentous occasion.
And I think to further like cement like kind of the relationship, like you guys remember you planted that like in the capsule, like in the pill caps or the pill bottle, you guys left it like a handmade 1 of 1, and old Greg who's like on the arcade team as well. Another one of the founders. Yeah, there you go. He found it. Like he booked it and was looking like a madman to try to find that. And he found
I
it.
did like sometimes I'll do like a scavenger hunt because the genesis of drug receipts, right, was drawing the little drug characters on receipts. And so I did one in Austin during South by Southwest at a restaurant, and I left it in the restaurant, and I basically did a Instagram scavenger hunt. I said, this is where I left it. First come, first serve. Whoever can find it, it's yours. And so, yeah, it sounds like someone from Arcade got it. Really cool.
I mean, not just someone. Old Greg's such an awesome supporter. I think like very first ever Fluff House in Miami, he was like completely like key to that kind of thing, starting to hit off and getting excited and getting himself. Anyways, Old Greg's awesome.
Hey, just want
to clarify, there are two Gregs in our community.
Oh yeah,
there's Old Greg, who's a real person, and
we have
love
a DJ
to the real
Greg.
person.
We have old DJ Greg.
Yeah,
we have Greg, who's a mysterious, fictitious person that we don't love so much, but is definitely a very prominent member of the
they're
community.
They're basically the same person. So
yeah. Hey Trevor, I've got a question for you on our YouTube, like in terms of licensing. Will Vanilla Ice take down this podcast if we go out with Wrath of the Iceman?
I don't know if Vanilla Ice is still tracking his copyright IP infringements. I know he's a big property developer these days and has made more money from property development than he ever did from his music career. And I don't think anyone really uses Vanilla Ice's IP very often anymore.
So what you're saying is we're going to risk it?
No, but I think you're allowed 30 seconds. Don't quote me on that. Fact checkers in the comments unite. But I think you're allowed 30 seconds of someone else's material before
so far in the Discord, people. Arlo, I totally remembered you being a lot more of a star in this one. You're kind of just peeking them.
He's uncapped. He's uncapped Pandora's box.
Yeah, he's definitely in there, but it's just not all that much. But I've got to go through to see who's won that Seeker. I'm actually starting to run out of Seekers now, thanks to Drug Receipts, podcasts, and Spaces.
But yes, the update is that we've all been found and identified, and the screenshots are up in the Discord. So yeah, it's pretty funny and pretty amazing that they found that. There's one more layer of the surprise here that I want to get to
let's do
about the bosses. So in anyone that has been playing in the Drug Wars and has gone into the battle card builder, you'll know that you have on the user interface, you get to choose what color card you want to use or what color frame you want to use for your teams when you're constructing your teams. And the number of colors that you have available to you as options are based on the number of holdings that you have in your wallet, the number of drug receipts. So if you are big pharma, which is the role that we have designated for people that have between, I think, 10 and 49 drug receipts, then you have access to the green big pharma card and also all the other cards beneath it. So you also have access to the gray and the white cards. And if you have at least one of each of the characters from drug receipts, then you get access to the set tripping card, which is a blue card. So you could have access to the green card, the blue card, the gray card, and the white card. And if you are a kingpin, you get access to the orange or gold card, and also to all the other ones. So if you're a kingpin, all the cards are available to you. You can pick any frame color you want to perfectly accent or complement the way that you've curated your team. But for anyone that's used this interface, you'll notice that there is one more field called undisclosed that no one has access to. Well, that is about to come online. And that is for the bosses. That is one more layer, one more level of cards, one more option that will only be available to the bosses. Joellen, let's show what the arcade team would look like if they used the new frame. There you go.
Wow. Go.
So you can see there that the rank is boss. That's a new rank that we've added for our bosses, and the bosses have access to all the frames, including the new boss purple frame. So certainly a flex that's available to our bosses. And who knows, maybe if you take out a boss, you'll get maybe you'll get an NFT that you can use. We'll give you permission to use that frame in the next round of Drug Wars. Certainly think that frames will become a valuable asset that will start to be able to, you'll be able to trade in their own right. for subsequent drug wars.
Yeah, it's such an interesting, this is going places, right? The sense of like the ability to wallet, like, and by the way, this is the whole idea of wallet is identification. Wallet is an entrance into anything, the sense that, and you'll see, with the next Legends Mint that the whole thing is wallet ranked. And this is the start of Web3, real Web3, where we're able to deliver tokens that give you a completely different experience in a website. So you might get, a token that means that you're able to enter something completely different. It's nuts. And it's really cool to watch. Again, you guys are doing a great job at experimenting with it. It's really, really awesome. Great.
What do you guys think? How does the purple look on your team there?
Just an idea, though.
I think it looks awesome.
Looks awesome.
Purple's one of my top favorite colors. It's like in that little group of colors I like. So yeah,
well, you've come to the right place.
I know this
all the time here.
I know the 0x.
So what's going to happen is all the bosses are going to get added to a whitelist, so that once we add the update or push it live in the battle card builder, you guys will be able to go back into the battle card builder and just edit your card and add the new frame.
Nice. Okay, I was like, how did we miss that?
You didn't miss anything. We held it back. And like we do, we have we have to have some stuff. We can't just flood it all out. It's too much. It mind alters too far, too deep for a lot of our people to take it. I noticed that the 0x Thulu guys are in the comments. I'm sure they're loving the purple frame as well. Be a huge fan of that one. So it might become a massively popular frame, like you say, Arlo, next year. Who knows what's going to happen? Or next round. I keep saying next year like this is an annual event, but it's probably going to be something that happens quite frequently, because the more we get into it, the more we love it. That was just the very end of my monologue, and then I just got zoomed in at the end there. Nice. Did I sit up properly?
So we saw you guys at South by Southwest. Obviously, some great history there and some really awesome stories. But Kazi, it sounds like you were also at Jesse's most recent event in New York. Did you guys run into each other at Paradise in New York?
Yes, Jesse doesn't remember.
Can you remind Jesse what that was like? Because she has no idea.
Well, yeah, no, it was funny because I was like, hey, where are you? And we were texting each other, and then I was just buying a drink. So I'm like, I'm by the bar. What are you drinking? She's like, that's a weird way to describe yourself. And I was like, no, I meant.
Because I told him, I was like, we haven't met yet, so I don't know where you're at. It was funny. But the metaverse will take care of that. See, in the metaverse, your username will hang above your head. I'll know. There'll be no problem.
We're just, you just look for the gold tabby. It's a bright gold. You can't miss it.
There's only one. Yeah.
Smart.
Yeah.
Well, if you guys like those events, if you like the Fluff House events, if you liked NFT NYC, the social that we had at what's the ping pong place called?
Spin.
Forgot.
Thank you. And if you like the Paradise events, then I'm just curious. Do you guys have plans for Halloween?
Alpha.
Yeah, I do.
But I plan on traveling.
Let's go.
Keep your calendar open. I'm just saying. Keep your calendars open.
Wow.
Kaz already said he'll be the guy dressed as the gold tabby. So
if you hold a certain trait, you might be able to get in. I don't know. I'm just saying. I don't know.
Okay. Looking forward
there's a good chance that a one-on-one
Halloween.
holds the trade. Okay. So big bosses revealed. Do we want to sneak a little bit more in there? We've mentioned a few. Do we want to do any more, or are we holding back the remainder of the boss announcements? I mean, over the next 7 days, right? It's going to be revealed who the rest of the bosses are and what's at stake and who's in which division, and all of that sort of stuff will be revealed.
Yeah, we've announced that it's going to be the Drug Lords. We've mentioned Arcade. I think we're holding on to the others, right? We're going to release those over the next days. Keep the stoke going.
You guys have seen them all, though. How do we rank up? How are we doing?
Ooh, you guys have got to fight. There's no doubt about it. That having a 1 of 1, we've proven without a shadow of a doubt that having a 101 is not enough to secure victory. Like, this is not a game that's being judged on how special your tokens are. It's how well you've curated.
That's not true.
Well, but it is part of it. So there is data on this now, because we've had 3 teams in the first round that each had at least 1 of 1 in them. There was one team that had 2 1 of 1s in the same team. Those teams fared, I think, 1 victory and 2 losses is how they fared in the first round. So it's, to clarify Trevor's point, it's not just about flexing or status or clout. If you can curate a nice team around a 1 of 1, then more power to you. The truth is that a 1 of 1 actually can become a kind of a liability, because it's so hard to coordinate other pieces with it. It just commands so much attention. It has so much gravity, and there's not a whole lot of other traits that actually match it. But if you can do it smartly and you do it well, then you've sort of got an extra little bit of juice. So it has happened, but there are also a couple of losses. So you're really going to have to make sure you step it up with your lore and your propaganda. But just to be clear, the bosses cannot knock anyone out of the tournament. The bosses are a bonus round. So whatever team wins their division and goes on to face a boss, they have an opportunity, and it'll be a matchup, just like any other matchup in the battle arena. But if you beat the boss, then you claim the bounty that boss has put up. And we haven't announced yet what Arcade's bounty is, but they will have a bounty up. Each one of the bosses will have a bounty up. Brooke's putting up a bounty. I'm putting up a bounty. And if you beat your boss, you claim that bounty. And you move on to the next round.
And this is more alpha, and I know we've been dropping a lot of it, but I'm going to put up my Maltese toy poodle. Her name is Coca Beer. She's 11 years old, so she's got a couple of at least 3 years left in her, we think, and she's adorable.
There's 100% no chance that Coco. I know how you feel about Coco.
No, that's how much I'm putting on the line here. If you take me out, and we will ship her from anywhere in the world to anywhere in the world, Coco Bear will come, and you boom, done. That's your prize. Done.
But wait,
if you don't take Brooke out. Oh, go ahead, Trevor.
No, you go.
If the boss beats you, they don't knock you out of the tournament. It just means that you don't claim the bounty. The bounty then moves into the main prize person, so that'll be claimed by someone else later on in the tournament. Perhaps the grand victor, the warlord, maybe a runner-up. But the bounty moves into the main prize pool. It goes into the prize vault, and you still move on in the tournament. You just miss the opportunity to claim a prize along the way.
Yeah.
And there's more, because the drug receipts we keep on giving. At the end of it all,
I mean, the podcast keeps on going. That's what I'll tell you what it is.
This is why
the podcast keeps on going.
You've got to stick around for the whole thing, otherwise you miss the good stuff. No, all I wanted to say is that the boss rounds is only one time you'll see the bosses. There is another time you'll see the bosses. They will take on each other at the end of it all. So
is that right?
Yeah. So at the end of
then
all
what
of
happens?
it,
have we said that publicly anywhere yet?
No. Shit, did I just drop alpha? Like unplanned alpha. Sorry, Jesse, it wasn't in your running.
I think
we should. If we do that, then I think we should do it for pink slips. Like we should battle like NFT pink slips.
Kaz is like, we're just unfortunately the team at Arcade are going to have to withdraw from the competition.
No, I mean you wouldn't put up if you're going to go pink slips. You don't put up like I said. I've got like 4 or 5 that I would never want to lose. But that's the idea. Is like you want to win it, so you want to get it up there. So I'd do that with you guys, and then we'll see how it goes.
But yeah, there's a battle, boss against boss at the end to find the ultimate community or the ultimate boss, which will be almost like a bit like community against community. So it'll be interesting to see how that one pans out. And that's just, at this stage, it's just for shits and giggles. But with Brooke Howard-Smith, who knows where it might go and what it might become.
There's such thing as shits and giggles with me, man. Yeah,
and if we're up against Brooke, I'll just remind the people about Thingy Alpha.
That's right. Hey, do you know what about Thingy Alpha? I don't know if you saw my post, but I've got context on that now. So like in January, February, when I started to see by the way, Kaz is totally just like dropping his robo thingy. I've got a robo thingy. That's his background right now. So So in January, I already knew about the AI and what it was capable of. And in fact, I already knew what Aaron kind of leaked yesterday, that these things are going to build 3D objects, right? They're what's going to help us build out this kind of incredible space, right? And so I already knew that, and I already had Keanu, and we were about to, like, the contract was as good as signed. And then two things happened. Matt Damon did the crypto.com ad, and it went south pretty fast, and Russia invaded Ukraine, and that went south pretty fast. And so that March 15th date got like axed. And that's why Thingy Alpha was like, we were done. We were going to release like this crazy storm on the whole of NFTs. So that's my apology. That's my reason.
No.
Yeah.
Hey, you guys delivered, right? It was worth the wait. So
well, and like, I can't believe Aaron leaked what he leaked yesterday. It's way ahead of schedule for anyone to know that. But now I can talk about it.
Yeah, he's worse than you about leaking things.
Oh, by like a country mile, like by the biggest country mile.
Well,
I remember
I'm glad it's finally out. Yeah, I was gonna say I'm glad it's finally out, because I remember we had that call with you and Aaron like way early on, and you guys kind of dropped it to us. I'm like, damn, we have to keep this a secret until they release this.
Yeah, I mean, the sense of kind of like that. I mean, people should have done the math, or at least should have realized that Jesse Metcalf was in the middle of like a progressive, like this incredible master's by correspondence in Berlin on AI creativity when he started this thing. So it was always, and David, McDonald is an AI kind of like genius. So it was always going to head down that track. Guys, now I'm aware that you guys still have another 3 hours of the Drug Receipts podcast to go, but I've got 3 minutes left. I just want to say thanks to Arcade, to you guys for kind of blowing my mind as always, and being one of the coolest parts of all of the ecosystems. We're really lucky to have you in there. And thank you so much for being you.
Awesome.
Yeah, thank you, bro.
So thank you guys for having us on.
The Discord and the YouTube comments have been really active. Don, do we have any questions for the Arcade guys while we've got them, before we let them get out of here as well? Let's see.
By the way, guys, we're not kicking you out. You're welcome to stick around, but we're going to go into a fairly normal kind of rest of the programming for the show.
Yeah,
you're welcome to stick around. But yeah,
We love you.
Remember
when I told you guys it would only be like 15 minutes?
Yeah, you did.
Hey, no,
it's a Drug Receipts 15 minutes.
Can I leak some Arcade Alpha? Is that okay?
Yeah.
Yeah. We're doing like really cool things in GameFi. Like we've talked about it already. I don't want to keep talking about the things that we're doing. One of the things that we're doing is we're making NFTs, right? They're already made. We're going to release them pretty soon. So we give those out to people who have a Discord role in our Discord. So if you're in the Discord already and you don't have like any special role, just ping me or Kazi, and then we'll get you guys kind of set up. And if you're not in the Arcade Discord, we'd love to have you guys. We huge fans of the non-fungible ecosystem, like every part of it. We're very well exposed, and we're doing some cool things, and we're trying to push GameFi and bring gaming to Web3 in a pretty serious way. And I think we're some of the leaders that are doing that. And we'd love to kind of have you guys and spend some time with you guys and bring you along for the ride. So that's all. I didn't have a good ending for that. I'm sorry. I always end with
Yeah. I'll just add a little thing to. I'll just add a little thing to what Fresco was saying. These NFTs, no one's gonna be able to buy them. They're all the supply that we give out are going to be just airdrop to the community, and we're doing a lot of cool things on our platform, and these things will play. Will unlock a lot of abilities that a lot of people are going to wish they had access to. And we're basically going to distribute all this for free, but that's all we can leak right now. But they're going to be useful.
That's awesome. You better make sure you're in the Discord.
Yeah. We give out a lot of whitelists for a lot of things all the time. It's just Arcade to Earn. I'll link it in like the Drug Receipts Discord here in a second. We're going to be doing a crawl with you guys. Old Greg's going to be DJing with you guys tomorrow, so we'll share it there too. But yeah, we're gonna give out a lot of stuff. These NFTs are gonna come with a lot of things attached. So we're gonna have a lot of utility in our platform, and yeah, we've put a lot of thought and a lot of time into this, and yeah, we're super excited to kind of share these things, and there should be coming really soon. So we want to get those to as many friends and fellow community members as we can. So yeah, I mean, appreciate having you guys let us come on. It's been awesome. It's been a lot of fun, and big fans of what you guys are doing. So thank you guys.
Big fan of
guys
you
are
guys.
welcome
Thank
anytime.
you. Yeah, thanks for sharing the alpha, and definitely get that get the invite to your Discord into our Discord server so that all the drug smugglers who aren't there yet can get in there. And you mentioned the arcade crawl tomorrow. The last couple have been really fun. Tell us a little bit more about that. Let's plug that, and then we can sign off with you guys.
Yeah, so the crawls are like one of the fun things we do. I like before I was on the arcade team, I always like described arcade as like the frat boys of like Web3 that just kind of didn't grow up or whatever, and just still like we just like to have fun. And coincidentally, one of our execs is a awesome DJ. Old Greg is one of the coolest guys I've met in Web3, and he's very talented. So we're going to be doing DRx Thulu. We're going to be coming to Drug Receipts. We're going to be doing Atom, Seekers, pretty non-fungible heavy. Rocket Monsters, who is a new advisory. They're new to the arcade family, and Civitas, which is a cool game coming out, and we're doing some sort of partnership with them really soon. And so it's a good opportunity to come in and get exposure to a really cool up and coming like Web3 game. And but yeah, one of our favorite stops is always the Drug Receipts, and love your guys' community, and I'm really excited to come and have you guys listen to some old Greg music.
Cool, we'll be there. Awesome.
We'll
Thanks.
be there.
Hey, when you
Jamie,
said that he
get
was
your
one of the
gifts.
when you said that old Greg was one of the coolest people that you met in Web3, was that before you saw Trevor on this podcast wearing sunglasses?
Oh, Trevor's undefeated right now. Trevor is undefeated.
Yeah.
Oh, I just looked up and I saw that I got my own little spot there. There's a meme in
And
that for sure.
He drives a Raptor. You can't top that.
I look like
All
I
right,
just
you
got off
guys.
a Harley Davidson. Here's the confession that you've all been waiting for.
Uh-oh.
Here it is. Are you ready? These are actually my mum's sunglasses because I left mine in New Zealand. So these are mum's sunglasses.
Oh, no way.
Yeah, they're borrowed. But since they've had such a great reaction, I don't know if she's going to get them back.
Take them
Look
over.
at that
Mom.
handsome. You pull
Your
everything
mom
off.
has swag, that is swag right there.
My mum's got style, that's for sure. Yeah.
Awesome,
It
cool.
didn't
All
rub
right,
off,
well,
but she's
Arcade,
definitely got style.
Kazi, Fresco, we'll see you guys in the Discord. We'll see you all at the crawl. Thanks so much for coming out, and we'll see you in the Drug Wars. We're looking forward to your
Yeah,
boss
100%.
battle. So, yeah, thanks so
And
much
out
for
there,
coming out.
let's
Love what
go.
you guys are doing. Super sick.
Yeah.
Good luck.
Thank you, guys.
I know there's a few snugglers keen to take you out.
Yeah.
Speaking of taking them
All right.
out, there they go.
There they go. Cool. So
All right.
great.
Let's do it.
Nice visit with the arcade dudes. I guess that means now the table is cleared. We can get into some drug wars. So we've got a lot of stuff to get into. We've concluded the first round. We've already started the second round. The first 4 battles of the second round are going on right now in the Drug Wars battle arena. So let's do it, Jesse. I think that we can officially now finally recap the last division of Drug Wars. But first, we're gonna switch things up around here, right? We're gonna get out of Stop Questioning Everything, and we are going to move in to our recap.
Wow, we're doing that.
Let's do
Okay. Let's go, Joella.
Kind of.
And here we are.
Yay!
The daily, Mr. Day daily recap of Drug Wars. You're with the 3 dynamic trio, Arlo Eisenberg, Jesse, we won't dox your last name, Supreme, and me, Trevor, the mum borrowed Harley Davidson looking sunglasses for today's show. Okay, so we are talking about recapping Division 4B and moving on to launching the round of 32. So, without further ado, should we get into look at the results from Division 4B? Who were the winners? Who came through? And were there any bounties unveiled?
That is
So-
the key question because technically we have posted the results. You can find them if you're out. The results are out there. You can find them if you want them. And certainly the people that participated probably already know if they've won or lost. But we have not revealed yet if any more bounties were collected.
100%. So a quick recap. We had Mataza take on Quick, Hide It in Your Ass. The Odd
I beg your
Squad
pardon.
took on Make Love, Not War. Ruby's Finest Hour took on the Masqueraders. And High Day the 13th took on the Coven. And how did we go with the first battle? Do we have a card, Joellen, to reveal who won the first battle?
Boom.
Quick.
Mataza lost.
That was a big card, right? Mataza was a big.
Yeah, so
big
that's what we
tokens
were
on that.
talking about with the arcade guys. Mataza had a 1 of 1. That was a Red Devil cap, and in fact, that was a real flex of a card. It had, in addition to the Red Devil cap, it had 2 Cat Mask tabbies, and it had a redded out Devil Tail cap. I mean, it actually was really well done. But the final vote on it was 94 for Quick Hide It in Your Ass against 50 for Mataza.
And I do believe that the team owner has finally achieved what they set out to achieve, and that was to get you, Arlo Eisenberg, to say their name on a live broadcast. So
Well done.
goal
Congratulations.
achieved. Congratulations to Quick, Hide It in Your Ass, and congratulations for winning that round. And as you can see from that card, thank you, Joellen. No bounties went off in that particular battle. Okay, moving on now to the second fight, which saw the Odd Squad taking on Make Love, Not War. And the winner by a
Make
significant
love, not
margin.
war.
So and this is a very decisive victory here. Make Love Not War had a total of 102 votes against 42 votes for the Odd Squad. So people love the story of Make Love Not War. Here in the midst of all the drug wars and the real life wars, this plea from this card for peace and love. It's kind of an anti-war message with the two lovely couples featured on the cover, the Siren and Tabby couples. People really responded to that. And so very, very big win for Make Love Not War. Congratulations.
Yeah, big score
That was a
difference
complete
there.
blowout, really. I mean,
Is that the biggest margin we've seen so far, Jesse?
I'd have to double check on the data if we can get a secret fact checker on it, but I'm pretty sure it's probably, at least if not the top, it's definitely in the top 2-3. So very well done.
Big win. Okay, moving on to the third battle, which saw Ruby's Finest Hour take on the Masqueraders. And did we see a bounty in this round? The winner was
The Masqueraders.
Congratulations, Masqueraders. Arlo, how did we go with the scores on this one?
Some interesting things to note. These are 2 kingpins up against each other, 2 DRx sets. So each one of them have chosen to curate a collection based on one of each of the characters. The Masqueraders, you could see, took it down with the Jason mask and knife combo on each one of those characters. So really pretty tough task there to coordinate that. Nice job. And they were rewarded. Not nearly as decisive as the last matchup, but they won by a score of 83 against 62 for Ruby's Finest Hour. And Ruby's Finest Hour was part of the Tyler's Trait Alliance. So all Ruby slippers with the blue sock, really one of the more rare traits in the entire collection, but it was not enough to defeat the Masqueraders.
Yeah, so quite a decisive win. So interesting turn of events. And, every time I see one of these cards come up, it reminds me of, how close these things are. The next round's going to be thrilling. So many good teams up against so many other good teams. I just think by the time we get into the boss rounds and beyond, it's going to be almost impossible to pick which team you think has done a better job. Really, really impressive.
Certainly things aren't going to get any easier. And, we're almost all the way through every single matchup from the first round, all 64 teams, all 32 matchups. And we've only given out one bounty so far. Only one bounty has been claimed. All the other double agents must have, or not must have. At this point, it's pretty clear all the other double agents won their matchups. So they will carry their bounties secretly into the second round. Of course, all the double agents were randomly assigned. So the double agents don't even know that they're double agents yet.
Yes.
But we do have one more matchup from the first round in Division 4B.
Okay, here we go. The final battle between High Day the 13th and the Coven. And the winner is... Ooh, bounty! High Day the 13th takes out a double agent.
Finally, another double agent gets taken down, yes, and gives up their bounty, this time a Buzzy.
Buzzy.
Yep. Buzzy,
wow, that's a
Buzzy
pretty cool.
bounty. High Day the 13th, guys, another really wide margin of victory here. High Day the 13th had 103 votes against 42 votes for the Coven. And the Coven was one, you can't see it now because they've been thoroughly wiped out. But the Coven had all green hats with the pentagram trait, which I really quite liked. And the name and the lore was cool. But High Day the 13th, they're one of two teams in this very division, the 4B, that features all Jason masks. And of course, it's hard to beat a really nicely curated card, but especially when you have a clever name that makes a drug reference in drug receipts. Horror reference just had a lot going for it.
It did have a lot going for it. And, the Jason mask, such an interesting trait. We don't see as much of it as I think we should. And it's definitely a trait of interest, wouldn't you say?
Definitely, yeah. Definitely something that will prove to be very seasonal as we move closer to Halloween. But so that now that we've made it through all of the matchups from the first round, now we know for sure that two double agents were defeated. So two bounties were claimed. That means two of the remaining double agents move on into the next round. So there will be 6 double agents in total in the next round of competition.
Let's
Trevor,
go.
Yeah,
the very cool way to show.
Yeah. I'm trying to get gangster. I'm
Yeah.
trying to. I'm feeling the West Side flow.
So should we preview the? Oh, what are we gonna do? Is that
Jesse's face? If there was a 3D avatar of a cringe emoji, it would look exactly like that.
She wasn't feeling the Australian.
He wasn't feeling the West Side
middle-aged white Australian West Side.
Middle-aged guy with the mum borrowed Harley Davidson glasses trying to do gangster rap hand signals.
I thought you pulled it off.
It doesn't get any
Trevor.
lamer than that. No, it doesn't get any
Pretty
lamer
cool.
than that. I definitely have a lame streak inside of me that gets out every now and again. And I'm
We
not
love
ashamed
it.
to
You
admit
look
it.
good.
I'm
Got
not
the
ashamed
dad
to admit
gene.
it. I got
The dad line.
gene.
That's
Yeah.
the dad
My
line.
dad. Yeah.
My son's going to watch this, and he's going to have a face exactly like Jesse
Yeah.
when he sees it. All right, so let's get into some of the highlights before we kick off the round of 32. I really wanted to showcase some of the better propaganda because I really feel like some of the teams that were about to show their propaganda again, for those who missed it first time maybe, really deserved the shout out and the limelight. They've put so much effort into this propaganda. It blows our minds every time we see what the community is producing. And some of the teams have been knocked out, and we won't be seeing any more propaganda from them, which is a bit of a shame. But in retrospective, here's a recap of some of the highlights from the propaganda in the round of 64. Let's check it out.
Absolutely, one of my favorites, really. This was a Lady Hayes design, I believe, and she absolutely killed it. I mean, this legit looks like a poster. Because it
Wait,
is.
are you saying Lady Hayes did this graphic for the team owner?
Yeah, and it was really awesome because as you guys know, Acro is now part of the curtain behind the scenes. So in his place, we got a new member into Drug Receipts.
Lady Hayes has emerged.
That's
She
cool.
has. And that was a lot of how it's a really cool lore, and it just shows how awesome our community is. But she had made some propaganda for a couple of kingpins, and they paid her back in receipts. And with that, she was able to build a team and start a collection.
Cool.
So really, really awesome part of the drug receipts lore and our community history.
That's great.
Here's
I love that
here's
backstory.
here's the intrigue behind the backstory. Will there be a Lady Hayes acrothetics kind of thing happening here? You know, that's what I want to know. Where do we end up from here?
Where do we go?
Where do we go from here? Okay, next up, what have we got, Joellen? Dad's Army.
Okay, someone explain this. Someone over
Okay.
the age of 35, explain this to me.
Explain it to me like I'm 5. So this is a reference to the TV show that I talked about, which is probably lost on many of the American and younger members of our audience. But there was a classic British TV show called Dad's Army, and this propaganda pulls out some of the classic characters and their particular kind of catch cries, or some of the lines that they were famous for saying in the show. So it was a very clever piece of propaganda that possibly doxed the age of the owner of this team and potentially was lost on some of the audience. But I thought it was very clever, and I was a big fan of Dad's Army. I think I actually took them out too, which I was unfortunate for them.
Also, a demonstration of what you can do with the drug inspector. Get all the transparent PNGs of your characters, use them, repurpose them with photo editing software, and create something like that. Really cool. And you can also download all the Drug Wars assets directly from the Drug Wars website. It's in the drop-down menu. Just go to Drug Wars Propaganda, and it'll be an instant download that gives you a zip file that has logos, has little PFP avatars you can use. So yeah, if you haven't,
it's all there.
Yet, go download your propaganda assets.
It's all there. It's all there for you. We've tried to give you as much help as we possibly can to level the playing field. But there are the Lady Hazes out there that are obviously have some skills that they can deploy well in this competition. But it doesn't stop at simple JPEGs, ladies and gentlemen. There were some amazing video production that took place in the propaganda. And, this stuff really blows my mind. This is where people are spending real significant time putting their propaganda together. So let's have a look at some of the more notable ones. Joellen.
Nicely.
Make love, not war.
I love
That's
that.
excellent. That's excellent. Nicely. It's definitely the highlight of that piece of content. It's great. It's so cool that's part of this game. The next one. And Make Love Not War made it through. That was one of the landslide decisions that we just saw, right, from the from the previous round. So it's hats off to them for really putting in the extra mile there. Okay, what's next in the list of fancy propagandacy?
James, mate, what do you want to do tonight?
The same thing we do every night, Pinky. Try to take over the world.
The Pinky and the Brain, yes, Pinky and the Brain. One is a genius, the other's insane. They're laboratory mice, their genes have been spiced. They're Pinky and the Brain, 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 brain.
Brain. So cool.
So good.
Yeah. Excellent propaganda. Speaks for itself. We don't need to talk it up too much. Let's have a look at the next one. I think they're also still in the game, right? Pinkies in the Brain got through.
Yep.
Let's have a look at the next one. Thank you, Joellen.
Oh, I love this one, Jamie. I'm so sad. I'm so sad when you got knocked out, but you are still playing the game of our hearts. And for that, you are a winner.
Beautiful.
That might be the team that Pinkies in the Brain took out. I think she was up against one of Nicely's teams. I don't know if it was that one, but yeah.
Tough battle, but great propaganda, really nicely curated card, and definitely worth another run around the block. So thank you for showing us that, Joellen. Next one is.
The good old postcard.
This is the piece de resistance, isn't it? This is the.
Yep.
Mr. Elby. Yeah, great. Really prolific propaganda from Mr. Elby. And looking forward to seeing more coming because those guys definitely cleared through into the next round.
Definitely.
What else have we got?
Love the details on there. Wait, go back 1 second. I just noticed that "Hang in There" was one of the graphics on the plane. That's an old Franco Shade or Ghost graphic. I hadn't never noticed that before. Really cool. Lots of details on this. Nice job, Mr. LB.
The Eiffel, the tabby there. That's the
Statue of Liberty.
Statue of Liberty. Thank you for grabbing me from my slipping mind. But yes, the Statue of Liberty tabby. Very cool. Okay,
Amazing.
Sorry. Moving on. Beware misinformation and the COVID. Oh, so good.
So good. I think this is from one of our more notable skeptics in the community. As you can see, you guys have some really good guidelines here on the right side. Recognize biases, use reliable sources, and vaccinate your mind. I really, really love this because this really, I think, gets at the heart of the philosophy, really, of drug receipts. And we don't really get to see a lot of that. So
this is skeptical propaganda through and through. I love it.
Yeah, I love how people have used this competition and this campaign to bring attention to different aspects, right? It's not just necessarily about talking up their team. There were teams that came with a message, and that's definitely one of them. So really cool. What have we got next, Joellen?
Oh man, this one's really awesome. I think when humanity is destroyed as we know it, and an archaeologist digs this up, they're going to have like a million questions. But this is one of my favorites from our Tyler Shields to Maxi route trip. So this was a really creative way to pretty much cover all bases or all regions of propaganda in one fine swoop.
Definitely. All right, moving on. Nice work there. We've got some others to show, some familiar ones as well that I'm sure some of the teams that are starting to emerge with their own kind of identities and brands and things that are happening through this competition. This is definitely one of them, came in with a big bang. So let's have a look at this one.
Attention, citizens of the drug receipt community. The floodgates have opened. The games have begun. War is imminent. This is the war.
The drug war was a giant war that you don't need guns for, because that's the way to the drugstore. And then you're gonna win so much more when you get it out that you wanted to think.
Right.
It's a drug war. Big fan.
So nice. Awesome that we have not one but two massive anthems that were delivered so far, and who knows what's coming down the pipeline in the drug wars. It's so awesome, and I'm sure those tunes will live on in our community far beyond drug wars. And I'm sure every time we start the competition again, back they'll come. I know I'll be using them for our show intros and things. So unless somebody produces something better, the challenge is thrown. Okay. The next one in the list. This was a really interesting battle.
Else.
What's that?
Not better necessarily if they produce something else. We have two, because when No Cap came out with their track, it wasn't necessarily better than Nicely Striped. It was just another great Drug Wars track. We're just building the catalog.
Yes, you're right. Imagine that. The Drug Receipts Greatest Hits NFT, which is an album of all of the Drug Receipts anthems that are produced over the next however long, 6 months, 2 years. That's an NFT that I would love to buy. All right.
And thanks to the technologies in Web3 and blockchain, everyone will be able to receive royalties for their track.
Oh, Brooke Howard Smith is back in the podcast. Okay.
And you know, guys, really the thing about Web3 NFTs is it gives the users a sense of like real ownership in their catalogs. It's really, really exciting stuff, guys. Really, really exciting.
Wow.
Okay.
Nice.
Yep. Beautifully done. Okay. Never
Brooke.
ceases to miss an opportunity there. And I wonder if Brooke will even go back and watch that. Maybe somebody can clip that little bit out. And share it. Now, the next few that I'm going to show were actually calls and responses, or teams that were taking on each other, which was really cool to see the propaganda spilling into the actual battle itself, not just about promoting a team or a cause, but it was actually a bit of a call and response. So the next one, please, Joellen. Oh, it's like a B-grade horror movie up in your face. It's so good.
I really do have a soft spot for that team.
Yeah. It's I mean, they went up. It was 2 battles head to head. So here's what the other team that team were battling came up with around about the same time and dropped.
In the city ain't no big deal. Living in the city ain't no big deal. You gotta have a heart made of U.S. steel. If the crack don't get you, then the hookers will.
You a dead meat slime bag. Yo, man, it's cool. It's cool, man. It's cool.
Beautiful, beautiful. It just makes you want to stock up on masks, you know? Anyway.
Oh, there's definitely something in that Jason mask trade, isn't there? Definitely something. Yeah, crazy battle, like 2 kind of evil, dark, mysterious, scary teams battling each other. What are the chances,
And that's one of the cool things about the, having the teams randomly assigned is you end up with sometimes interesting matchups like that almost had kind of like the horror theme with the Coven on one side with the pentagram hats and then the Jason masks on the other side. And then the High Day 13th coming through with that epic response in the propaganda, taking out the Coven, which actually is how things ended up playing out in real life. High Day 13th took out the Coven.
Yeah,
but I'd be curious to see what matchups we end up with in the next round. What other kind of like cool pairings?
Yeah, it's awesome. It's sad to see Fletch, who doxed himself in the video. So I'm happy to say Fletch, one of his teams got knocked out, and such great propaganda. So losing that gem to the competition is sad. But then you see all of these teams that are producing propaganda. I really feel like the next round and the rounds after that, we're just going to see this level up of propaganda. I can't wait. It's going to be so cool.
So I'll tell you something else about that is because as the competition gets more and more stiff, And I know that when I go into the battle arena and I see 2 cards and it's hard for me to choose, I'm like, man, these both look really good. So I'm like, well, let me read the lore again and like see, which lore kind of like moves me. But you're going to start looking for kind of like these ways to sway you one way or the other. It's like, oh, well, so-and-so did just come out with that rad propaganda. I think they kind of deserve this round. So the propaganda is going to become, I think, really, really important the further we go.
Definitely.
Yeah, especially when the rounds down the line start, lasting longer than 24 hours, where people have more time to create and what's the word? Propagate their propaganda. It's going to get really fierce, but that's where I think we're really going to see the magic of the and the spirit of the propaganda. So very exciting stuff.
It's also, people now understand who they're battling and they've got a view of it ahead of time, right? So now people can predict, I know that I'm roughly 3-4 days or a week away and I'm battling this team. So we're going to start seeing a lot more of what we're about to see now, which is 2 teams kind of battling each other, not only in the battle arena, but also on socials with their propaganda. So let's see the next clip, please, Joella. That's so good. You know what? I've seen that. I must have watched that clip, I don't know, at least a dozen times now because I really loved it. I really, really loved it. And I just saw something for the first time. Did anybody else notice the line on the first, where she she kills the Cap character from the Johnniest? And it says, imagine being stabbed while gagging on an emoji, on an eggplant.
It's part of our lore.
It's
She knows.
It's not going away. Oh dear. Uh-oh, my Mac's telling me it's going to sleep soon. How long have I got? Ooh, we're down to 10%. Okay, let's move quickly. So in that battle, obviously there is a team call out. They're going straight after each individual character, no holds barred. And so it couldn't go unanswered by the opposition, who came up with this clip in response.
Wow.
One of my favorites.
That's a response right there.
The response. And
Honestly-
while we were watching that, I realized that was the clip that got canned because of that clip, and now we just
Now we just
again.
now we just flagged our
Sorry, Don.
podcast.
Yeah, sorry, Don.
Oh,
So you got to watch these things live, people, or you might miss the opportunity because we're here at Drug Receipts. We're always living on the edge of censorship.
It's true. It's true. You know what?
see
Real
the
quick,
audio.
I know the owner of that team. If they're willing to put it on the Discord, they made an amazing 2-second clip that also served as propaganda. That was against the killer pills. That was really funny, involving a hammer. So would love to see that in the Discord if possible, but no big deal. Guys, we hit the 2-hour mark. What the hell?
Perfect timing as well. That's the end of the recap. All we need to do now is talk a little bit more about what's happening as we move into the round of 32. So, as everybody can see from the battle card, it's 1A and 1B. Then it'll be 2A and 2B, 3A and 3B, 4A and 4B as we move through the next round of battles. There will be 4 matchups in that order every 24 hours over the course of 4 days. So the round of 32 is going to be quick. It's 4 days. So you can't muck about. And the first battles, as you can see on the screen right now, are Tabby and the Underlords taking on Serengeti Outer here. Verde's Vixens are taking on Pocket Rockets. The Johnniest taking on Airless Glory Limited. The Floor Swept Sicarios taking on Freed from Addiction. Wow, some big teams going head-to-head in this first round. What do you guys think of the Division 1A and 1B combination?
Are we able to share screen? Can Dawn share a screen so we can look at the matchups?
Dawn.
Last time we tried to do it, didn't go that well. I don't think Dawn can hear the actual podcast because there seemed to be no relationship between what was happening on screen, but we'll give it a shot.
So as you can see up there, we've got Tabby and the Underlords taking on Serengeti Outer here.
So a couple of interesting things you'll notice about this this slate of matchups is there are 2 matchups in here that feature the underwear trait prominently. So Tabby and the Underlords is one of them, and then one of the other matchups we'll see is another one that has the underwear trait is featured prominently. Right there, Pocket Rockets. So kind of interesting to have them all in the same matchup here. If we can go back to the third one, go back to the first one, real quick. Oh, I'm making it really hard for our board op here. So in the first one, Tabby and the Underlords, and then there's Jessie.
That was Jessie's little
Serengeti
moment.
out of here.
She missed it.
Sorry if this is confusing, but
no, it's okay. I'm letting Dawn know when to skip and when to go back to the battle. In the chat.
I got you. Cool. Okay, so as we said, we're in the second round now. So everything gets harder from here on out. These are all teams that have won at least one matchup or that won their first matchup. So already these are all battle tested, and the curated teams are getting better and better. So on all these. Go through, check the lore. Verde's Vixens versus Pocket Rockets. We've got a Team Tabby versus a curated team that's got 2 versions of the blue backgrounds and, as we mentioned, a couple of underwear traits. But so, right, two different ways of interpreting a Pocket Rocket. The Johnniest here on the left is against Airless Glory Limited. So we pointed out how the underwear traits features in a couple of these. But another thing that you'll notice is how some of these teams end up matched up with really similar color palettes and curation. Both these teams using the white frame, featuring the pinks. It's I don't want to sound like a broken record just saying that they're nicely curated, that they're nice teams. At this point, it's kind of what you expect.
But what's really cool about that, those 2 teams in particular, is that there is a lot of skate lore and skate history between those teams. So that's what's
Blading
I think really stand out about this round.
Yeah, that's how bladers match up.
Yeah. So we just saw the propaganda from the Johnniest, and a lot of skating references in there. All the team, or each one of the members on the team of the Johnniest, like, is named after basically kind of a famous skater. Airless Glory Limited is a reference to the company that Brooke and I had, Senate, the biggest skating accessories company for rollerblading, aggressive inline skating. And that speaks right back to our history together. So definitely check out the lore on both of those. And if we notice that the white frames and the pink motif kind of both these teams match here, when we go to the next one, we'll see a similar dynamic where you have two teams that match with the purples. So for whatever that's worth.
This one. Yeah, a very tough battle on this one.
This is a very tough battle. We're going to see some propaganda from one of these teams here before we close out. But so I guess I won't comment too much on it. The team on the right it's almost like a subtle flex, because you don't really notice it right away. They're not like one of ones. It's not cat mask trait. It's not ruby red slippers, but all the celestial traits actually rank pretty highly. So I think 4 of those are probably in the top 1,000, which is not a bad little flex. But as we've said, many times, you really don't need to count on rank in order to be successful in this competition. You can do what Floor Swept Sicarios has done and just curate based on traits and colors and write good lore, and you're in the game. It's really about how well you put the whole package together, and people can appreciate thoughtful design. He did, or they did have one highly ranked. It was in the top 1,000. Which one was it?
The cash cap.
Let's see it.
Which is the cap holding on a pink background, holding the money bag up in the top.
Oh, and it's got a gold crown. Yeah,
it's got the gold crown. Cool. Yeah, so again, nice. Those sort of royal or celestial traits do rank quite highly. So Floor Swept Sicarios, not leaning into any particular flex in terms of characters or NFTs, takes on a really well curated team here. That's matched up quite nicely, and some excellent propaganda, as you pointed out, Lalo. And I think we are going to share a little bit of propaganda from that particular team. And does that bring us to the end of the podcast? Do we need to remind everybody about the prize pool and things? I think everybody kind of knows pretty well now what's up for grabs.
$20,000 USD. The title of Warlord.
And as you've seen, you don't have to wait till the end to find out where the prizes are going, or you don't have to wait till the end to earn a prize. One of our drug snugglers picked up a prize this evening just for taking out a double agent. Anybody that votes on the competition, you don't even have to be in the competition to win a prize. If you place a vote, every single vote that you place in the Drug Wars enters you into a lottery to win a fluff. So at the end of this competition, someone, whether they're in the contest or not, will win a fluff just for voting. So get out there, encourage people to come in and vote. If you're paying attention, if you're watching, make sure you're getting in and voting every day. We have 4 matchups a day. Vote on each one of them. Read the lore, look at the curation, look for the propaganda. Cast with your heart. Make sure that you are making your votes count. People are putting a lot of hard work into these things. And for your troubles, you will be entered into a lottery to win a fluff.
Amazing. Very good. So far, it's been epic. It's only going to get better. I can't wait. We will see you again. Are we doing this again tomorrow? Are we back on to our daily recaps as we go through the round of 32? So we will see you again on the same bat channel, same bat station at whatever our usual bat time is for the daily recap. Good luck to the teams that are battling it out in the first round of 32. And here to close us out is some propaganda from that last fight that we were just looking at. Thank you, everyone. Hope you all made it through to the end.
I keep talking to God, but he don't hear me. And my demons are there, always listening. I get lost in the dark, drowning in whiskey. And I went in so far, you say you miss me. I'm on a ship in a bottle, so say goodbye at the shore. Break the glass so you'll find me, I'm not who I was before. Close my eyes in the darkness and hold on through the storm. I'm a wreck in a bottle, I wasn't built for a war. Those church pews, bright lights, Whiskey glasses, bottles of booze, make short days, turn long nights. The bottle, the Bible, I didn't know what to choose. I pray on my way.